If you feel pretty comfortable and strong in one skate or V2 skate, but your technique still doesn't look like the experts, there's a good chance it has something to do with your timing and rhythm. By timing, I mean how the movements of the body, arms, and legs coordinate with each other, and by rhythm, I mean how the quality, speed, and power of the movements change through the stride. Where does the accent of power go, and where does the effort ease off? Many one-skate timing issues show up as what I call legs too fast, hands too slow. That means the leg finishes its skate push and returns under the body before the hands are in position to plant the poles. This timing matters because you want the movements of the arms and legs to be fluid and continuous so that they carry momentum from one phase to the next. When the leg arrives too soon, it creates a dead spot where the movement in the leg stalls out. It loses momentum and has to restart once the hands catch up again. Often timing issues are more subtle and can be difficult to detect. In this example, the timing mismatch is much smaller. It appears the leg gets into position and the poles aren't too far behind, but there's still room for improving efficiency. Looking back at this example, you'll see that the leg doesn't have to wait any time at all for the poles. There are many potential causes of the legs too fast, hands too slow timing problem. The purpose of this video is to provide a framework that you can work through step by step to assess and improve your one-skate timing and rhythm. I'll begin with the things that will give you the biggest bang for your buck. These are changes that are easier to achieve and are essential elements of good timing. For context, when I say easier to achieve, it will still take many hours of practice to refine your timing and rhythm. In this video, I'll explain what to look for. If you want drills and step-by-step lessons that show you how to develop these skills, visit NordicSkiLab.com. Start by assessing your poling. Remember that many timing problems result in legs too fast, hands too slow. So you are looking to make adjustments that help the hands get back to the start position on time. I have seen skiers who just speed up their hands to compensate for other problems. That should not be necessary. You should be able to move your hands at a natural speed. Adjusting the hands has more to do with adjusting the path that they follow and keeping the follow-through short. So, what are things that make the hands too slow? Arms that are too straight, pushing the poles too far behind the body, and being too slow to turn around the hands at the back. Ask someone to take a front and side view of your skiing and then check for these landmarks. The arms and shoulders are bent at roughly 90 degrees at the start. The elbows drive up behind the body so that the hands stay close and have a shorter path to follow back to the start position. You want to finish the pole push near the hips. Be very quick with the turnaround at the back and keep the follow through short. It's like you are quickly tapping a drum and then bringing the hands back up to the start position. You can check the timing of the end of the pole stroke relative to when the skate push finishes. And you want to see the hands start their turnaround while the skate push is still working. So the hands turn around and the skate push is finishing. You can compare that to this example here, where you're going to see that the hands are continuing their follow through as the skate push is finishing here. So what you want instead is to start the hands on their turnaround before the skate push is done. Seen from the front or rear view, the most important thing is that the hands follow a relatively straight path in the front to back direction. A more common problem is for the hands to be too close together at the front and then for the hands to flare out at the back and kind of circle around back to the front instead of swinging straight back up to the front position. Once you've addressed any issues with your poling, the next thing you should look for is a follow-through at the end of the skate push. This is what a skate push with a follow-through looks like. The ski lifts off the snow and seems to float for a moment and then return to the midline. And this is what it looks like when the follow-through is cut short. Without a follow-through, the leg will get back to the start position too soon, which will, of course, contribute to the problem of legs too fast, hands too slow. Okay, so far you have assessed your poling and your skate follow-through. Next, I want you to look at the start of your skate push. We'll be looking at this ski here, and he is just getting onto the inside edge of the ski for the push. Here is where the ski is starting to edge, and at the very start of the skate push, you want to flex the knee forward. So the number one movement at the start is to bend the knee forward like that, and then the leg straightens towards the end of the push. This initial knee bend at the start is really important, super easy to overlook. You can call this the preload or the wind up if you like. It's perfectly possible and in fact common to skate ski with straighter legs and have no preload. Just like a missing follow-through, a missing or underdeveloped preload can also cause timing problems. If you're missing one of the movements the leg is supposed to make, then you are essentially taking a shortcut and the leg is more likely to get back to the start too quickly. The second thing about the start of the skate push that is often overlooked is the need to stay connected to the pushing ski. What does that mean? It means that as the ski is edged and pushing in that direction, you want to try to keep the body connected to the ski so it stays close to the inside edge of the ski as you push the ski. So see how he's halfway into his skate push and his body isn't that far away from the edge of his ski. So that means he's able to use his body weight to help power his skate push very effectively. And if you look at what's happening over in this ski here, you'll see that she moves her body away from the ski instead of staying connected and balanced over the inside edge of the ski. You'll hear a lot of talk in skate skiing about the importance of being balanced on a flat gliding ski. It is also important that you find your balance over the edging ski and stay connected to it as best you can. The landmark to check for this has to do with when the new ski sets on the snow relative to when the poles come out of the snow behind the skier's body. So watch when he sets down the new ski and look at the position of the poles. So he does not set down that new ski until he's all the way through the pole push, working into the follow through and almost starting to recover the poles back to the start position. Compare that to over here. We'll look at when she sets down the new ski and watch where the poles are. The poles are only partway through the pole push. And so that tells you that she is moving over to her new ski much sooner. And that means she's disconnecting from this pushing ski much earlier on in the stride. Now that we are getting into the leg work, it's harder for me to be sure what will give you the biggest bang for your buck because several key skills need to work together. Bending the knee at the start of the skate push and generally getting more flexion in the legs and less straight leg skiing is very positive. The final 3 points about the leg work that relate to timing that I want to discuss next are, number 1, you want to step onto the ski with a bent leg. Number 2, you'd want to keep that leg bent as you finish the push and work into the follow through. So you don't want to straighten this leg here prematurely. And number 3, you want to learn the hard way to edge the ski. The hard way is when you unweight it and then reweight it on the inside edge. These 3 items are so interconnected that I can't tell you what order to work on them, and I think you'll need to circle through them repeatedly. Let's start with the first, stepping onto a bent leg. We're looking at this ski here. That's the one that's just about to set onto the ground, and we're looking for that leg to be well flexed when the ski settles into the snow. So there's great flexion in this skier over here, but you can see that there's even more in this skier on the left. So as always, we're looking to keep the ankles soft so that we get more flexion in the lower leg. The second point on my list is that you want to keep that leg bent and avoid straightening it too soon. And this will show you what it looks like when you straighten it too soon. It's going to happen when that leg there is finishing its skate push. You'll see the leg start to straighten up at the end of the skate push and as she's working into the follow through. And that's telling you that she's straightening this leg too early. And instead, this is what you want to see. You keep the leg bent through the end of the skate push and into the follow through. I'll show you the difference there. This takes a lot of patience. That's the best word I have for this part of the cycle, is you just stay very patiently bent and you try to stay low all the way through the skate push. I know there are quite a lot of drills that put an emphasis on standing up or getting tall in skate skiing. For example, there's one called the breaststroke, where you're supposed to imagine that you're kind of coming up out of the water. And those drills, you need to be careful with those drills because they can they can often lead to this problem. And the thing that you'll notice is that there's kind of a lot more pop in the skier's movements. They kind of pop up and they overemphasize the standing up part of the stride and they get too straight on that leg. By straightening this leg here too soon, it'll end up being overly straightened at the end of as the poles come forward, and straightening this leg here, it also causes this leg to swing back under the body more quickly. And that, of course, contributes to the problem of leg too fast and hands too slow. The last item on the list for assessing your timing and looking for ways to improve your timing also relates very strongly to the rhythm of one skate. And it has to do with the way that you get onto the inside edge of the ski for the push. And I like to say that there are two ways to do it: the easy way and the hard way. This is going to be the hard way. The hard way involves unweighting the ski and then reweighting it on its inside edge. So the unweighting is happening, we're looking at this ski here, and it's happening there. And then now she's getting pressure into the inside edge of the ski. It's a very dynamic movement through what I call the top of the cycle. By the top of the cycle, I'm talking about the time where the skier is most tall. So this is where the body is most extended and they are in their tallest position. And you want this movement to be dynamic, and the movement unweights the ski and then resets it on its inside edge. The easy way of getting onto the inside edge of the ski is to simply roll away from the ski. So the body is going to move in that direction, and that will naturally roll the ski onto its inside edge. The skier's technique will look a lot flatter, it'll be a lot less dynamic, and it disconnects the skier from the pushing ski so that they're unable to use their body weight as effectively as compared to unweighting and reweighting the ski the hard way. There are a lot of skate ski drills like this that encourage you to hold your balance in the tall or top position. And when you watch skiers practicing them, they'll spend a lot of time on a straight leg like this. There's one where you take 2 pole pushes for each stride. That will cause you to stay on a straight leg for too long. There's one called the heel tap drill. That'll do the same thing. And the issue with these drills is that they are counterproductive to the key skill that you need to learn, which is to transition through the top position dynamically and quickly. It's the dynamic nature of this transition through the top that is the key to moving yourself effectively from a flat ski onto the inside edge for the push. This movement here also contributes significantly to the rhythm of one skate. This dynamic part of the stride coming here, so what the way you should think about rhythm in one skate is you want to think about this position here at the end of the push as being like your holiday time. This is the moment where you're able to relax for a moment. You finish the push and all the tension drains away from the body, and you're just a little bit patient and restful there. And then you start to gather your energy as you bring yourself back to the top position and then transition smoothly and powerfully down into the push. So the accent in one skate is on this flexion movement. That's where the power goes. You don't need to overemphasize this part here. If you overemphasize standing up, then you'll end up just popping up and down in your body as you ski. The accent is on the application of power, and that comes from this strong flexion movement at the start of the push. All right, that is everything I know about timing and rhythm in one skate at this point in my life. I often hear from skate skiers who feel that something isn't quite right with their one skate or V2, but they can't put their finger on the problem. I wish there was a simple answer, a formula or a timing cue that would fix everything, but my experience has taught me that dialing in timing and rhythm in one skate is one of the biggest challenges for cross-country skiers. Issues can arise from multiple interacting factors, and they're often specific to the individual skier. If it were easy, you would see a lot more great skate skiers on the trails. If you want drills and lessons to help develop your one skate or any other skate or classic technique, check out a Nordic Ski Lab video membership. And if you want ongoing technique feedback and support, join our training club.